A good morning to all. GST made simple. What does GST stand for? Goods and Service Tax. Now let us understand this in a detailed manner. For this, the chapter 1 to 16, which deals with various types of matters which are relevant to GST. Let us understand in detail so that you understand what GST actually is. Before GST implementation, there were so many types of taxes like the excise, VAT, the service tax, entry tax, and so on, which were creating confusion, and also they were tax on tax, causing cascading effect on the goods and service tax, where the people were not able to understand. When we see excise was charged, and then on excise VAT is charged, and then the service tax, so they were replicating effect. After GST, it has become very simple. Only one tax everyone has to charge, whether he is a manufacturer or he is a trader or he is a retailer. Everyone has to charge only one tax. Now let us understand this with that. For example, why we call it as a value added tax. Here, the part that the trip people up. GST is not a flat tax on this final sales price. It is collected at every stage, factory, distributor, shop, but each stage only really ends up paying the tax on the value it added, not on the whole price all over again. We will get into exactly how that works in the chapter 3, chapter 3. But for now, just hold on to this. Nobody in the chain gets tax on the tax that is already been paid. That simple single design choice is why GST is called destination based value added tax. Destination based because the tax revenue goes to the state where the goods or the service is finally consumed, not where it was made. The value added because the tax is charged on the value added at each stage, not the cumulative price. The old system briefly. Before GST, India ran on the patchwork, that is excise, VAT, service tax, entry tax. That is not relevant now, so we will not go into the detail of this time, but only for your understanding why GST is a game changer for India. What GST actually replaced all of that with one tax, one nation. There was a slogan that one tax, one nation. Actually, a few connected laws, but conceptually one system with one registration. You will learn about GST and your GST ID number in the chapter 5. A small number of tax rates slabs that apply the same way across the entire country, a handful of standard returns instead of a different form for every old tax, no more border stops for entry tax, goods moves between the states freely as within. This did not happen overnight, but it did not happen perfectly, but core achievement is real. A shop in Kerala and a shop in Punjab now follow the same tax rules for the same product, which simply was not the true before 2017. Who actually pays the GST? The next question is, who actually pays the GST? Ultimately, you do, the consumer. GST is what is called an indirect tax. The business collects it from you at the point of sale and passes it along to the government rather than the government taking it directly from your income. That is what a direct tax, like the income tax, does. Every stage in the chocolate bar, journey collects a bit of tax from the next buyer, and eventually that chain of collection ends with you, the person who actually eats the chocolate and does not sell it to anyone else. This matters for how you should think about GST. If you run a business, you are not really paying the tax out of your own pocket in regular scheme. At least the composition scheme in the chapter 12 works little differently. You are collecting it on the government behalf and passing it forward while also getting the credit for the tax you already paid on your own purchases. It's less. Here is a cost I bear, and more. Here is a collection duty I carry out correctly. A word on why this book exists. Let us understand why we created this book. GST has a reputation for being confusing, and honestly, some of that reputation is earned. The actual law is dense, full of cross reference and written for the tax professionals, not the shopkeepers or freelancers. But underlying idea are not that complicated. One tax instead of many. Tax on the value added, not on whole price again and again. Credit passed forward so nobody double pays it. Everything in this book builds on those three ideas. If you are ever lost in a later chapter, come back to this page. The details all trace back to something simple. In short, GST replaced a patchwork of the separate tax with one nationwide tax on the value added, collected in stages, ultimately paid by end consumer with the credit passed forward so no one pays tax on tax. Now let us come to the chapter 2. Let us understand what we understand in the chapter 1. You understood what is GST. GST is a goods and service tax. And now let us go to the chapter 2. We will come in the second video as it will be bulky for you to understand everything in one shot. So consume this first and then let us come to chapter 2. Till that time, see this video for 4 to 5 times to understand the concept. Thank you and God bless you. If you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe it, and if you are not liked it, like it and give the comment so that more videos can be created. Thank you and God bless you.